Oh, I'm Peggy Prendeville. I'm 60 years old and I'm an interior designer. Through a very good friend called Izzy, who had problems with his shoulder, and James had fixed it with acupuncture. Well, about a year before I came to see you, I started having a terrible pain in my groin, which I put down to doing lunges at my gym classes. So I stopped going to the gym for a while. I did all sorts of things to try and sort of sort it out, and people said I should rest it. Then I seemed to get worse. So I went to the doctor, who then organised physiotherapy on the National Health, which didn't appear straight away, but finally I got it. And I had a very nice man who I went once a week for quite a few weeks, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. He gave me exercises to do, sort of helped. Then I seemed to get better, and as soon as I said I was better and they signed me off, it seemed to come back worse than it had originally. So I called him and I said, actually, I'm worse than I was before. And he said, I don't think I can do any more. Go back to your doctor. So I went back to the doctor, who then organised x-rays. And they said they found arthritis in both of my hips, although it was only my left hip that was hurting. And he said, we can't really do it. You can't really do anything about it. We put it down to wear and tear, and I would expect you to have something like that at your age. And I then said, well, do I need a hip replacement? And he said, no, if you can tie your shoelaces, you're not at hip replacement stage, but you might need to in the future. And that's where I left it, and I went back to my gym classes, and when they say at the beginning of a class, has anyone got any injuries like that, I say yes, and I just knew that I had to do some of the exercises moderately. And then I was just telling my friend Izzy about it, and he said, no, you don't have to put up with that. Go and see James, he's amazing. He said he works with all sorts of Eastern things like herbs and acupuncture, and he'll decide what's right for you, and he decided that acupuncture was the way to go. He judged me as quite tough, so he decided that I could take a tough approach to acupuncture, which I must admit has been excruciatingly painful. But he's very quickly he managed to take away that excruciating pain, and he's given me some new exercises, which I don't always do, but a lot of it's actually walking. So when I remember, I try and walk in the way he's been teaching me along the road. It's odd being taught how to walk at the age of 60, where I would have preferred it if I'd been taught when I was 1. But and I've had 6 sessions, and I think he's pretty well got rid of it. And now we're now going to just do top-ups every now and again, just to keep it at bay, hopefully. Well, basically, I stopped limping. It was the first stage. Well, no, actually, having said that, the first session I had, I was in excruciating pain. My second session was only about 4 days later. I just thought this must be normal and part of the process. So when I arrived to see James again, he said, how are you? I said, I'm in absolute agony. I said, I assume that's normal. He said, no. And what had happened was he'd worked on one side of my leg and it was pulling on the other side. But then he addressed the other side, and then it was like a miracle. Oh, very lovely. You come into this very serene environment, feels very Japanese. You're given a lovely cup of tea that seems to be quite a ceremony, a bit like the Japanese tea ceremony. Although I believe they're Chinese teas, are they? They're not Japanese tea, or a mixture. Yeah. And they're all delicious, and everyone takes it very seriously. So I find that a fun experience. Everyone's very nice, very calm. Acoustically, I'm an interior designer, so I notice acoustics, and it's very, you've got carpet on the floor. You take your shoes off, so you feel very Eastern. So it's a nice experience. Oh, I'd say if you have a muscular problem, I mean, obviously you probably treat all sorts of problems, but I assume a lot of people come with muscular problems, backache and shoulder, as my friend Izzy had. I would recommend you wholeheartedly, because it's sort of like a miracle. I've heard of other people have acupuncture and say it hasn't worked. But I don't know who they've gone to and what they've had treated. Very professional. I don't know how many people work here, but it seems like there's about 4 or 5, yeah. And everyone it seems quite spiritual as well. There's a nice, I'm not religious, but there's a very nice sort of atmosphere here, and you just all seem very professional. I believe you've all done training in China, where a lot of these skills come from, or this knowledge comes from.